All right, so if you're listening to this, I'm guessing you've probably, maybe, thought about booking a trip to Italy at some point, right?
It's hard to resist the call of Italy, isn't it?
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start planning, you're like, whoa, 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 too many choices.
So many. Where do you even begin? Every travel blog, every friend they all have their must-sees.
Right. And honestly, some of those lists can be a little, well, a little basic.
I get it. You want to go deeper than just the Trevi Fountain and the Leaning Tower of Pisa, right?
Exactly. We want those I can't believe I'm actually here moments, but without the tourist traps. So for this deep dive, we're ditching the generic itineraries and going straight to a local expert. We're talking about this travel leisure article, 11 best cities to visit in Italy, according to a local.
Love that angle, straight from the source.
Right. Think of it like we're handing you the keys to a whole new way of experiencing Italy. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the classic, Rome.
Ah, Roma. You can't really talk about Italy without mentioning the Eternal City.
Exactly. And I know, it's almost cliche at this point, but when I read this line in the article, it said, you can be walking down the street, grab a cappuccino, and bam, right next to you are ancient Roman ruins.
It's true. It's mind-blowing how history is just interwoven into everyday life there.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's not just a history lesson. It's like
Huh.
experiencing time travel firsthand. All right, let's keep this train rolling. Next stop, Florence.
Florence, the birthplace of the Renaissance. Need I say more?
Joking. Well, I mean, you could. But honestly, this article said it best. The concentration of artistic masterpieces in Florence is mind-boggling. I don't even know where you'd begin.
It can feel a little overwhelming, right? You've got Michelangelo's David, Botticelli's Birth of Venus.
Don't forget Brunelleschi's Dome.
Right. It's almost too much beauty to process in one go. But the article had a great suggestion to escape the crowds a bit, explore the Oltrarno neighborhood.
Oltrarno. Okay, I'm adding that to my list. What's the vibe over there?
Think charming artisan workshops, cobblestone streets, cozy cafes, that authentic Florentine atmosphere minus the tourist hordes.
I am sold.
Yeah.
Speaking of atmosphere, Venice, canals, gondolas, romantic vibes, but also potentially overrun with tourists.
Ah, Venice. Yeah, it's infamous for that.
Yeah.
Which is why the article suggests, wait for it,
Okay, don't leave me hanging.
visiting during the off-season, November to March.
Seriously.
Seriously. Imagine Venice shrouded in mist, that serene quiet. You might actually get to enjoy St. Mark's Square without bumping elbows with 1,000 other people.
That's a game changer. I never even considered that. Okay, so we've done ancient Rome, Renaissance Florence, serene Venice. Next up, Milan.
Ah, Milano. Now we're talking high energy, international flair, and of course,
Fashion.
had to be said, it's the fashion capital of Italy after all.
Oh,
But what a lot of people don't realize is that Milan has this amazing food and drink scene that often gets overshadowed.
okay, so tell me everything. What should we be eating and drinking in Milan?
For drinks, you have to try the Negroni Sbagliato.
The Gruni, what now?
Sbagliato. It actually originated in Milan.
Get out. Okay, I'm already sold on Milan, and we haven't even gotten to the food yet.
Right. So the article mentions this thing called aperitivo. Basically, it's like happy hour, but they bring you these delicious snacks with your drinks. Just picture yourself sipping your Negroni Sbagliato overlooking the Duomo.
Stop. My suitcase is already half packed. All right, after aperitivo hour in Milan, we're heading south to the birthplace of pizza itself, Naples.
Naples. There's truly no place like it.
It's one of those cities that has this energy.
It grabs you by the senses. It's a whirlwind. A bit gritty, sure, but that's part of the charm. Underneath it all, Naples is bursting with life, passion, and history, of course.
And pizza. Let's be real, the pizza alone is worth the trip. Speaking of which, the article mentioned this Italian saying about Naples, Vedi Napoli e poi muori. See Naples and then die. Intense.
It's true, though. It's one of those experiences that stays with you.
So besides the pizza, what else makes Naples such a see it to believe it kind of place?
It's the mix of everything. You can be wandering through ancient ruins one minute, stumble upon a Caravaggio masterpiece the next, and then end up in a backstreet workshop where they're making some of the finest tailored suits in Italy.
Wow, okay, so it's like a choose-your-own-adventure city. Like it. All right, we're on a roll here. City number 6 takes us to a place with not one, not two, but 3 nicknames. Am I right?
Bologna, La Dolca, La Grossa, La Rosa, the learned, the fat, and the red.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me. What do those nicknames even mean?
The learned refers to its university. It's the oldest in Europe, dating back to 1088.
Whoa, seriously old school. Okay, what about the fat? That one has me curious and kind of hungry.
The fat is all about the food. We're talking tagliatelle, alla bolognese, lasagna, tortellini. Bologna is a culinary paradise.
All right, I'm already planning my food tour. But that leaves us with one last nickname. The Red. What's the story there?
That one's open to interpretation. Some say it's the color of the terracotta roofs. Others say it's a nod to its left-leaning political history.
Interesting. A city that embraces its history, its food, and maybe even a little bit of mystery. I like it. Okay, ready for city number 7.
Bring it on. We're heading to the heart of Sicily, Palermo.
Palermo. Okay, now we're talking about a city shaped by so many different cultures, right?
Absolutely. The article even pointed out how you can see that cultural blend in its architecture. Arab, Norman, Byzantine, Baroque. It's incredible.
Like walking through a living, breathing history book. What are some of the must-sees in Palermo?
The Palatine Chapel is definitely a highlight. That Arab Norman architecture is stunning. But if you really want to experience the soul of Palermo, get lost in the Ballarò and Vucciria markets.
Ooh, the markets. Okay, you had me at market. I'm a sucker for a good market, all those sights, smells, that vibrant energy.
There's something else. Mountains of fresh produce, seafood practically jumping out at you, the aroma of spices.
Okay, stop. Too much. But speaking of food, any must-try dishes while we're in Palermo?
2 words, arancini and cannoli.
You get me. Those Sicilian classics are always a win. All right, we've wandered through ancient ruins in Rome, marveled at Renaissance art in Florence, and experienced the markets of Palermo. Where to next on our Italian adventure?
Let's head to a city often called the Florence of the South, Lecce.
Lecce? Okay, I'll be honest, that one wasn't really on my radar before, but Florence of the South, I'm listening.
It's all about the architecture. Lecce is located in Puglia, that heel of Italy's boot, and it's known for this stunning Baroque style.
Right, I've seen pictures, it's gorgeous. But what makes it so special?
The buildings are made from this local limestone that gives the whole city this warm, golden glow.
I see what you mean. It's like the whole city is bathed in sunshine. Besides the architecture, what else is there to do in Lecce?
Imagine strolling through narrow streets, charming boutiques, traditional workshops, and of course you have to try the Café Lecce.
Café Lecce. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's this refreshing iced espresso, but here's the twist. It's sweetened with almond syrup.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a subtle nod to Lecce's history under Arab rule.
Wow, I love that. A history lesson in a glass. I'm sensing a theme here. You can't go to Italy without indulging in amazing coffee. Speaking of indulgence, any other must-try treats in Lecce?
You can't leave Lecce without trying pasticciati.
Wait, are those the little pastries filled with custard?
The one and only. They're a Lecce specialty.
All right, Lecce is officially on the list. Good food, gorgeous architecture. I'm in. Let's continue our journey north to a city known for its elegance and sophistication, Turin.
Ah, Turin. It has this undeniable regal air about it.
Which makes sense, considering it was the seat of the French Savoy dynasty for centuries, not to mention the first capital of a unified Italy.
Exactly, and you can feel that history everywhere you go. The Royal Palace of Turin is a must-see for a glimpse into that royal past, of course.
Of course. But it's not all about the past in Turin, right? What about its modern-day scene?
Oh, Turin is having a moment. It's becoming a haven for foodies, especially those who appreciate good wine.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more about this foodie haven.
Turin is renowned for its wines like Barolo and Barbaresco, and of course we can't forget the hazelnut and truffle specialties.
Did you say truffle specialties? Okay, you had me at truffles. Seriously, every city we talk about seems to have its own culinary superpower.
It's the beauty of Italy.
Yeah.
And speaking of culinary superpowers, did you know Turin is also the birthplace of vermouth?
Get out. So that Negroni Sbagliato I'm going to have in Milan, I have Turin to thank for one of its key ingredients. I love when things connect like that. Okay, we are down to our last 2 cities on this whirlwind tour. Where to next?
Let's journey to the heart of Italy's green heart, Umbria, and its captivating capital city, Perugia.
Perugia. That sounds lovely. What's the vibe there?
Picture a city almost frozen in time. Its medieval architecture is incredibly well preserved. It's like taking a step back into Italy's past.
I'm sold. Give me all the charming historical details. What should we see and do in Perugia?
The Palazzo dei Priori is a must visit. It's home to these stunning frescoes by Perugino. And to really get a feel for the local scene, grab a bite to eat at one of the traditional trattorias.
All right, so we're talking art and authentic Italian food. Sounds like a perfect day to me. But you mentioned trattorias.
Yeah.
What kind of culinary delights can we expect in Umbria?
Think hearty, rustic dishes bursting with flavor. Imagine fresh pasta with wild boar ragu. Or, if you're feeling decadent, you'll find shaved black truffles making a frequent appearance on menus.
Okay, Perugia is officially going on my list. Now, for the grand finale, our 11th and final city.
Let's wrap up our Italian adventure in a city that's a true culinary powerhouse.
Parma.
Parma. Okay, this is a city after my own heart. We're talking about the birthplace of Parmigiano Reggiano and prosciutto di Parma.
Exactly. In Parma, food isn't just a meal, it's an art form.
A delicious, delicious art form. But Parma has to offer more than just incredible food, right? What else makes it special?
Oh, absolutely. Before Italy's unification, it was the heart of the Duchy of Parma. It was this wealthy and influential duchy that left behind a legacy of art and architecture.
So you're saying I can indulge in those culinary masterpieces and feast my eyes on artistic treasures? Exactly. You can't miss the Palazzo della Pilata. It's this sprawling complex that houses the National Gallery, the Farnese Theater, the Palatine Library, the Archaeological Museum.
Hey, whoa. Slow down. That's a lot to take in.
And I haven't even mentioned the Bodoni Museum, which is Italy's oldest printing museum.
I'm starting to think that a quick trip to Italy won't cut it. I might need to plan an extended adventure to truly experience all these incredible cities.
Right. Italy just has that effect on you.
It really does.
Yeah.
Okay, so 11 cities later, and I'm already dreaming of booking another trip.
I know, right? Italy will do that to you.
It really will. But I'm curious, out of all the cities we talked about, did anyone in particular really stand out to you?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's like picking a favorite child. But I have to say, there's something about Lecce, the Florence of the South, that really captured my imagination.
Lecce. Okay, I'm interested to hear more. I have to admit, it wasn't really on my radar before this whole deep dive. What was it about Lecce that stood out?
Well, for me, there's just something magical about discovering those lesser-known destinations, you know?
Totally, those hidden gems that haven't been completely overrun by tourists.
Exactly. And Lecce seems to strike that perfect balance. It's got history, beauty, culture, but at a slightly slower pace than those bigger, more famous cities.
I like the sound of that, those pinch-me moments without the crowds.
Precisely. And that golden-hued Baroque architecture bathed in sunlight, I mean, the pictures are stunning. I can only imagine what it's like to experience that in person.
Oh, and don't forget that Café Lecce we were talking about.
How could I? A little taste of history in every sip. It's those unique local experiences that really make a trip memorable.
Could agree more. It's not just about checking off the landmarks. It's about, immersing yourself in the culture, even if it's just sipping coffee and people watching in a sunny piazza.
Exactly. And, while Lecce might have been my personal favorite today, the beauty of Italy is that there's truly a city and an experience for everyone.
So true. Whether you're drawn to the vibrancy of Naples or the elegance of Turin, or even that timeless romance of Venice, there's an adventure waiting to be had.
Speaking of adventures, while we've been focused on cities today, we can't forget about Italy's other treasures, its stunning countryside.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Just imagine. You spend a few days exploring the bustling streets of Rome or Florence, and then you hop on a train and suddenly you're surrounded by rolling hills and vineyards.
Exactly. That's the beauty of Italy. You can go from urban exploration to complete rural tranquility in the blink of an eye.
It's like hitting the reset button on your senses.
And can you imagine the stories you'd bring back from a trip like that?
Oh, I'd be insufferable. But even just diving deep into these 11 cities with you today has been an adventure. I feel like we've gone beyond the typical travel tips and uncovered these hidden layers of history, culture, and of course, culinary expertise.
Well, that's what we're here for, to go beyond the surface and hopefully spark some curiosity in our listeners.
A little knowledge can be a dangerous thing.
Dangerous in the best way possible.
Exactly. Once you've had a taste of something amazing, you just want more.
And trust me, Italy is one of those places that will always leave you wanting more.
Oh yeah, you're right. Italy just hits different. It's definitely more than just the cities.
And when you can combine that urban experience with the tranquility of the countryside, that's where the magic really happens,
It really does. Because I always feel like it's good for the soul to get a little nature in after you've been in a busy city for a while.
Absolutely. Imagine exploring Rome for a few days, all that hustle and bustle, and then you escape to Tuscany and you're suddenly surrounded by vineyards and olive groves.
I think I need that experience like tomorrow.
Don't we all? It's definitely gone straight to the top of my travel bucket list, but even just talking about these 11 cities today has been incredible.
I know. I feel like I've learned so much more than just, typical travel tips. It's like we uncovered these hidden layers of history and culture in each city.
And let's not forget about the food.
Oh, absolutely. We can't forget about the food. Every city we talked about had me drooling.
That's the thing about Italy, though. Every region has its own unique culinary traditions, its own specialties. It's amazing.
It's one of the things I love most about traveling. Getting to experience a new place through its food. It's like a whole other language.
You said it, and I think that's what we've done today, given our listeners a taste of that Italian language through 11 different cities.
Yes, a crash course in La Dolce Vita.
Exactly. We've just scratched the surface, but hopefully we've inspired our listeners to go on their own Italian adventure.
To pick a city, a region, even just a vibe, and dive in head first. And who knows, maybe they'll even discover their own hidden gem along the way.
I love that. And hey, if you do stumble upon some amazing little trattoria or a hidden cafe serving up the best cafe, be sure to let us know.
We always love hearing about your travel adventures. Well, that wraps up our Italian adventure for now. Until next time, happy travels everyone, and buon appetito.